Representative Man of Japan, Preface to the Revised Edition. This book is an edited version of my earlier work, Japan and the Japanese, which I wrote during the war with China 13 years ago. Although my passion for my country has cooled as I've grown older, I'm still inspired by the fine qualities of the Japanese people. Japan is still the only country to which I freely give my prayers, my hopes, my service. I would like the world to see the fine qualities of the Japanese people, qualities other than loyalty and patriotism, for which we are already famous. This is the goal of this work, which I believe will be my last written in a foreign language. Kanzo Uchimura, 柏木宮時夫 January 8, 1908. Preface to the first edition. These essays, two of which have been published before, are now written together to help us understand some of Japan's greatest leaders. I'm afraid that no work written in a foreign language is quite as good as when it is written in the author's own language. However, when so much written about Japan comes from outsiders and travelers, it is perhaps a welcome change for a Japanese to write something on Japan for once. I understand that some of the meaning of these essays will be lost in translation. However, until Japanese becomes a universal language, attempts like this are often necessary. So, with confidence only in my hopes and goals, and no confidence at all in my grammar. The author, Kyoto, Japan, the day after the naval victory in the Yellow Sea. Youzan Uesugi, Chapter 1, The Feudal Form of Government. Although we have created systems such as democracy to end cruel forms of government, we know that no system can take the place of virtue. Feudalism had its flaws, so Japan replaced it with constitutionalism. But self-sacrifice and all its beauty exist when I have my master to serve or my subject to care for. The strength of feudalism lies in this personal relation between the governor and the governed. In this essence, it is really the family system applied to a nation. Therefore, in its perfect form, it is the ideal form of government because no law or constitution is better than the law of love. Perhaps after several thousand years have passed, we'll have a perfect form of government on earth. But while we wait for such a thing, let's remember something very much like it. It existed on this earth, and in heathen Japan at that. Yes, before wisdom came from the West, this land knew the ways of peace. Chapter 2, The Man and His Work. Youzan was a boy of 17 when he inherited the territory of Yonezawa in today's province of Uzen. Born to the Akizuki family, a rather small daimyo of Kyushu, he was adopted by the Uesugi, who were higher in rank and owned more territory. But the adoption later presented him with one of the most difficult challenges of Japanese history. The boy's aunt recommended him to the elder lord of Yonezawa as a quiet and meditative boy. Unlike many other sons of nobility, he deeply respected his tutor Hosoi. And as a sensitive boy, Youzan was religious as well. On the day he took office as the head of Yonezawa, he sent the following promise to the temple of Kasuga, his guardian god. Number 1, I shall never neglect my exercises, literary and military. Number 2, to be a father and a mother to my people shall be my first priority. Number 3, day and night, I will never forget these words. No extravagance, no danger. Give in charity, but waste not. Number 4, I shall guard myself from inconsistency, injustice, unfaithfulness, and indecency. If I ever neglect these promises, let divine punishment strike me down, and the family fortune be forever consumed. Uesugi of the office of Danjo, Fujiwara Harunori, the first day of the 18th month of the 4th, year of Meiwa, 1767. The Uesugi clan had been one of the most powerful in the whole country, but when the clan was moved to the Aizu district, its power was greatly reduced. Then, when the clan sided with the anti-Tokugawa party in the Battle of Sekigahara, 1600, the clan was moved again, this time to the remote district of Yonezawa. Their revenue was reduced to 300,000 koku. Then their revenue was cut again by half. When Yonezawa became chief, the Uesugi was a daimyo of 150,000 koku, but with all the subjects and habits that were once supported by 1 million koku. The new territory then barely supported the clan. Its debts totaled millions, and people were impoverished throughout the district. The district of Yonezawa has no sea coast, and its fertility and natural resources are very poor. It seemed certain that the clan would dissolve and its people would go bankrupt. The clan could not even raise 5 pieces of gold together. Young Yonezawa's business was first to put a stop to this state of things, then to restore it to something tolerable. Then, if his guardian god Kasuga would bless him even more, his goal was to make his territory an ideal state described by the old philosophers. Youzan first entered his territory of Yonezawa 2 years after he took office. As the procession passed, poor village after poor village, the sensitive heart of the young chief was touched. At one point during this visit, his attendants saw him blowing at a charcoal fire in a hibachi. "We'll give your lordship fire," one said. "Not now," Youzan replied. "I'm learning a great lesson. I'll tell you what it is later." When the procession stopped for the night, the chief called his attendants together and explained the lesson. He said, "As despair took hold on me, as I witnessed my people's miseries, I saw a little charcoal fire before me. It was on the point of going out. I slowly took it up, and by blowing at it gently and patiently, I succeeded in bringing the fire back to life. I asked myself, may I bring my land and people back to life in the same way? And I felt hopeful again." Chapter 3, Administrative Reform. Change in others must begin with change in oneself. Naturally, finance was the first question to be settled. The district of Yonezawa could only be restored by the strictest frugality. Youzan cut his family expense of 1,050 pieces of gold to 209 pieces. He kept only maids in his household instead of 50 as before. He wore nothing but cotton and ate no more than soup and one dish at each meal. He also ordered his subjects to be economical. Annual allowances were cut in half, and all savings went to paying off debt. This had to be continued for 16 years before the clan could be free from debt. No good governor is possible without the right man in the right places. So, Youzan found good men. Out of his small treasury, he paid able men well. He placed these men over his people in 3 different classes. First, there were the governor and his officers. They were the fathers and mothers of the people. who managed to administrative duties of the little state, Youzan ordered this class of officers to be sincere. Sincerity begets love, and love begets knowledge, he told them. The second class of officers were preachers, who taught the people filial piety, charity, manner of marriage, decency of clothing, food and ways of eating, funeral services, house repairs, etc. The territory was divided into 12 districts for this purpose, each with a head bishop over it. These bishops met twice a year to share knowledge and to report to the chief. The third class were the police. They investigated people's crimes and punished them severely. They showed no mercy and looked into every nook and corner of the villages. The three functions worked well together. While the governor and administrators upheld general policies, Youzan said, "To rule on uneducated people is costly and ineffective." So his bishops provided that education. But education without discipline is also ineffectual. So the strict police system provided discipline. The new system operated for 5 years without any trouble. Law and order increased in the villages, and people began to have hope again. But then, people who feared change rebelled. One day, 7 of the district's highest officials came to the young chief and tried to convince him to stop his new system of government. But Youzan decided that he would let his people decide. If they object to the new administration, he would willingly step down as chief. Youzan called a meeting of all his subjects. Thousands gathered in this castle, and Youzan asked if they felt his administration went against heaven's will. The governor and his officers said no. The police said no. The captains and sergeants said no. Youzan was satisfied. He called the 7 officials before him and sentenced them. 5 of them were made to give up half of their land and wealth, while the 2 leaders were punished according to the laws of samurai with harakiri. When the critics were gone, once and for all, the system continued to improve, and Youzan went on to create prosperity for these people.